Hi everybody, welcome back to Joe's RC Corner, and today we're going to be working on the SIG Colt again. So the last time we talked, we were finishing up getting the hatch, getting it sanded, getting the servos installed, and also installing the push rod control linkage for the nose wheel steering. Today we're going to be moving a little bit forward, and we're going to be getting ready to get the motor mounted, and then we're prepping the final stages on the fuselage, sanded and so on, so we can start putting that white base coat on the fuselage. So stay with me, guys, and we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to go ahead and take the front hatch off of there. And we're going to go ahead and take, I've already gotten the motor temporarily mounted on there, but we're going to go ahead and get that removed because I want to take a look at how this is all going to fit on here. So I do have a hole in the center where the back half of that motor goes through. I'm going to go ahead and open that hole up a little bit more. When I had that test fit, I noticed that the wheel collar that's in the back of the motor was actually rubbing in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up just a little bit more. So stay tuned. I'll turn the sound off so you don't have to hear all the grinding on that, okay? All right, so that looks a little bit better. It's a little bit larger hole. And I want to take the bolts out here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to need on there. Okay, so what I was doing here is I was just getting some washers to get a little bit of a more spacing up there in the front. That looks like that'll be enough, so 2 washers on each one. There's plenty of room back there to do this, so that'll work just fine. So in order to get this finalized and get it the final prepping done for this, I'm going to go ahead and seal the inside of the end motor area. And what I'm going to be using to do that is, as you guys all know, I really like my water-based polyurethane. So I have some right here, and we're going to just paint that inside there with a little bit of with a little brush. So let me grab that as well here. Okay, guys, so I got my brush that I'm going to be utilizing to do the water-based poly here. Just going to grab a little bit on my brush. I'm just going to brush that in. This will just seal this wood and give it a little more strength over time too, because it'll, once it cures here, and it'll seal all this. So we'll seal this all up with the water-based poly. want to take the moment here while this is drying to thank all the new subscribers to the channel. You guys have really been great. I can't believe how many people are interested in the builds that I'm doing here. I really do appreciate it. It's you guys are the reason why I do this, and I'm asking for some extra support. If you guys can make sure, anyone that's watching this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you watch my videos, so you get notifications for the videos that are coming out on the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Every subscriber helps, and I still can't believe I have as many subscribers as I got, but I do need your help to grow the channel. So if you can hit that bell, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you have comments, good or bad, in regards to how I'm doing this or how I'm building any aircraft, I greatly would appreciate the comments down below, and I do try to answer as many as I can. So if you could do that, I would truly appreciate it. One last thing before we get to the next steps on this, which is covering. If you could go ahead and visit my Teespring store. I do have some t-shirts here for sale on the webpage. I'll put the link in the description. Greatly appreciate it if you could go ahead and grab one of those t-shirts. Help show your support, and wear it out to any RC events you have coming up, and share my channel with them. You never know, they might like the channel and might like the work that I'm doing, and it helps me out by having them subscribe to the channel. So thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it, and let's go ahead and get started on the next steps, which is covering of the fuselage here. All right, welcome back, everybody. And now that the water-based polyurethane has cured, we're ready to start doing the covering. So I cleared off my bench while I was off camera. Got my white covering here ready to go, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the hatch first, get this covered, and then we'll go ahead and we'll flip the fuselage over and we'll start covering the bottom first. Now, one thing that you might want to do is I got some what's called tack cloth here, and you can get it at most hobby shops, but you can also buy this one that I have here. I believe it's a HDX. It's a Home Depot brand, and it's just a sticky cloth, and you get the dust off of the parts that you're going to be covering, because you don't want any of that dust underneath the covering. So you get that, and just wipe down the whole airframe, and it gets any of that excess little tiny dust that wasn't able to be blown off. And it allows the covering to stick a little bit nicer. All right, so now we got that done. I'm gonna go ahead and set the fuselage off to the side here so you can see what I'm doing on this table. I'm gonna grab the top hatch for the battery hatch. We got that set out right here. We're gonna go ahead and pull out some of this covering here. And I think the piece I have right here is gonna be more than enough to do this with. So we'll use that small piece here. There we go, got a piece covered. So this looks like that'll cover that. So let me go ahead and grab my iron. And what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to tack this right here in the middle. Not quite hot enough yet. A few more minutes. Okay, so like I said, I'm not trying to tack this, I'm just trying to tack it so far right now. So I'm not trying to shrink it. We're just gonna tack it for the point right now and get it into this position here. Okay, now it's starting to stick there. We're just gonna work our way out from the center. Okay, so now I'm getting to a point where I have a little bit of compound curves here. So I'm gonna pull on it just ever so slightly and just kind of smooth it out around these curves. So we get a nice smooth surface there. And that'll give it a little bit of stretch around the curves there. Okay, so the hatch is all covered in the white. To seal these edges where this all meets the wood, I'm going to use a little bit of my water-based polyurethane again, and I'm going to paint this whole bottom, and that'll glue these edges down to make sure that they never come up once everything is done. But let's see how that fits in there, see if that hinders not much. So now that hatch is completed. So, yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll move on. We're going to go ahead and cover the fuselage now. We're going to start at the bottom, and then we'll work our ways up the sides. So let's go ahead and get started on that, guys. Okay, so we went ahead and pulled the backing off. I'm going to line that up on the fuselage here nicely. Make sure you have enough that overlaps on both sides, and then we're going to trim that a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get this tacked in place. I'm going to turn my heat down because I don't want it too hot. We're just tacking it in place. We're not shrinking it. Okay, there's a difference on the heat. Okay. Going to tack it in the middle here. Okay, now that we have that part all tacked down over here, nice and smooth, we're going to work on this front. So the front, I'm going to have to heat it and pull and stretch it over these edges, these compound curves here. So we got my heat gun out here for that. Get on this side of me here. I'm going to use medium heat. So I'm going to have the back vents all the way open and on low. So I don't need a lot of heat. This is low heat monocoat or covering. So we don't need a whole lot. Okay, and that's pretty much all you need to do on that section. You see there, it's all stretched across. So now I'm going to trim these edges, and I'm going to use my sealing iron now to seal those edges down. So right now, we're going to go ahead and get these trimmed up so that everything wraps nice and neat. Leave about a 1/4 inch or so on either side around this whole ledge here. So we're going to go ahead and grab my shears. We're going to get started on trimming that up. And you just want to round it over, nice and neat, and then seal that edge. Okay, so now you can see that bottom is all done. A nice rounded front end. Now I'm going to trim up this back half because this is where the tail stab, the horizontal stabilizer is going to be attaching. So I'm going to trim that up and get that sealed down as well. Okay, so that's all trimmed up now on the back and in the front. Now I'm going to be cutting out that hole for the nose wheel. I'll do that later. I'm going to use a soldering iron, which is the same trick that Captain Rob uses on RC Model Geeks, and that'll nicely trim that area out nice and tight. So, and then we'll put another coat of water-based polyurethane inside this area once I get all the covering wrapped around. And that'll seal these edges to keep those from popping up down the road. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start on one of the sides. So let's clear off our surface again. Put everything off to the side so we don't mess anything up. Okay, we'll vacuum up later, so we'll throw those onto the floor for now. Okay, now, I think this was a piece I was going to be able to use on the sides, on the bottom, so we're going to put that on, or on the top. We'll set that off to the side. Pull out another sheet. Okay, grab the shears. We don't want to have too much excess all over the place, so we'll just set it right off to the side there a little bit. We want to have a little bit to be able to grab onto over here. And we'll just cut that right along here. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to be doing the rest of this off camera. No sense in just replaying the same stuff. So we're going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll come back to you once I have the fuselage completely covered with the white base coat, and then that'll probably be all we're going to get done today. So stay tuned, and we'll come back and finish up. Okay, guys, so as you can see, the fuselage is now covered. These are just temporarily pinned in place. I have not measured and gotten everything mounted permanently on the tail yet, but I wanted to get a good idea of what it's looking like. So we got, like I said, the covering on the fuselage is completed. The windows, which were vinyl, just the vinyl from Vinyl Cutter, put in place. And also did the trim with the red pinstripe on the top of the wing. So the last parts that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to get these tail surfaces mounted on here next, and then I got to figure out how his trim goes on the sides of the fuselage, so that way it all blends in nicely together. I am going to put some triangle stock right here as well, just to add a little bit more surface area for this rudder. They want it just butt glued on there, but I don't really like that. We're going to use some barbecue skewers to kind of spread that load into the hardwood that I put underneath the sheeting on the tail. Yeah, so it's all done, ready to go. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. Next video, keep an eye out for it. We're going to be doing the trim and finalizing, installing the motor, landing gear. May already have landing gear on there by then, but yeah, we'll get the trim set done on here, and we're ready to start mounting the tail surfaces, and pretty much almost done, guys. It's looking really nice. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell, because that bell will allow you to get notified when the next video posts onto my channel. And thank you again. I appreciate everybody's support. So keep building, keep flying, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.